Hey there, do you want to know how this client made $390,000 in 2 years on his first property investment deal? In this video, I'm going to go through where we purchased, why we purchased, and what he ended up doing towards the end to get that 390,000. If you only just landed on this page, hey, I'm Nathan. I'm the director of Invision Property. We're a Brisbane-based buyers agency where we help both investors and families buy properties across the Brisbane region. In these videos, I want to share case studies, all bits and pieces around the Brisbane market to help you make better investment decisions. So to wind back the clock, I purchased this property back in 2019 for this client. His current situation at that point was he was searching for an investment property for himself because he was based in Sydney, and in the Sydney market, 500k didn't really buy you much. So he chose the route of rent vesting. So rent vesting, just to break down simply, is that you rent where you live and you buy where you want to invest. So that means you don't really need to compromise too much on your lifestyle. If you can buy the right asset in the right location that gives you the right rent return, it could almost be self-sustaining, look after itself, and then you've got assets for the long term. So with this client, he was in his early 20s and he was just wanting to invest and get into the market. But at that point, he just kept on missing out. The market was quite hot. And also, he just didn't know where to buy and he didn't know where to start. So he got connected to me through a real estate agent. Initially, I sat down with him, worked out what his goals were and like what his lifestyle was at the moment. And, we worked out quite quickly. He had a budget of 600k and we wanted to get something that would yield quite well so it didn't affect his lifestyle too much. But we didn't want to go too far out and compromise with capital growth and just focus on rental yield. So then he, once we outsourced that, I showed him, hey, this is how we go. He jumped on board. It took roughly around 4 weeks to find him this property, and we managed to find it off market. But I'm going to jump on now and show you through the actual property itself, the location, and how much, it was renting for at the time, and then how much he sold it for. So let's jump on and have a look now. So let's jump into this property. So this property was located in a suburb called Arana Hills, which is roughly 12 to 13 k's from the Brisbane CBD. At the time, these properties were selling for around that 520 mark to 530. And it was just outside that price range where we needed to get rental yield. So in Brisbane, it's quite tough to get that 5% yield, especially at that time, that close to the CBD. So what you have to do is you have to find distressed buyers and people that essentially need to sell so you can purchase out at the price so you can get the right rent return. So Arana Hills is located in the Hills. So this is all the Hills district. And around this area, you've got very affluent families. Most families are earning, over 150k per year combined income. And you've got your train line at Ferny Grove, and there's a lot of new infrastructure coming into the area. So we pinpoint the area, and then this property then stood out because it sat on a block that was on over 1,000 square meters. And what that means in the Brisbane City Council is that you can actually subdivide these types of blocks subject to council approval. So at the time, we managed to pick it up for $485,000. So I picked it up roughly $30,000 to $40,000 below market value. We sourced this property off market at the time. And then once we settled, we were able to rent it out for $480 per week. As you can see, just last year, he was able to then sell it for $875,000. We've ended up finding him a property in a much better location, but he ended up cashing out and buying 2 other assets, which I've done within my own strategy. The property itself was a old timber style home. And, when you're looking at the Brisbane area, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any character overlays, so you can actually remove the house. We checked that the services weren't in the way, so if you wanted to subdivide it down the track. But we just kept it nice and simple. This property here purchased it for 485. Later on down the track, sold it for 875,000. He then made 390,000, which now that's cash that he can use to then invest and buy more properties. Personally, I think he should have just kept the property for the long term, but he's made a decision on his own to go on his own path, and he actually sold out at the peak, so he's done really well. As an area, the population here has grown rapidly with the Brisbane Olympics on its way, and all the infrastructure spending, Cross River Rail, and a number of other projects. The jobs that have been created within this area is like tremendous. So would I say Arana Hills is still a good area to buy? Yes, but you need to buy in at the right price. Every area is really good. It's just more around buying in a nice solid asset like that one there had a value add potential where you could subdivide it down the track. We brought it well below market value, and it also brought in a really good rental yield. I hope this then shows you that finding an investment property can be quite simple and straightforward. It's a matter of identifying the area, finding the property, and negotiating a really good purchase price. And the outcome is there. The proof is in the pudding. He's made $300,000 in 2 years. That's the power of real estate. So if you ever want to learn more about, the Brisbane market, or you're looking to invest in the Brisbane market and you want to get an understanding of the areas or what sort of strategies you can do, please go to my website, envisionproperty.com.au, book in a free strategy session, and I'll run you through the ins and outs of the different properties, the different strategies. You can then take that information, go off and, get an investment property, or you could be one of the small amount of clients that work with me to get some of these great results. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel where I'm going to be sharing tips and tricks on the Brisbane market, and also sharing case studies of clients that I've helped personally buy properties across the Brisbane market.